We even got CNN calling out Kamala Harris for using Trump's border wall in her ads. Even they are like, we got 50 documented instances where she publicly opposed it. But before we get into that, George also posted something that's quite hilarious. This guy hosting Trump's town hall just mocked Kamala Harris in front of millions across the country for only giving one interview 16 minutes long.
She will not allow fracking. She's not going to, and she's got a lot of other problems too. But for your particular, for the Commonwealth, you have no choice
if I may,
but to allow it.
16 minutes and 30 seconds are up. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
The president has spoken for a total of 16 minutes and 30 seconds.
I'll say something else.
Real quick, because we got a break.
If you watch that interview, she had notes. That means she knew the questions, and she had notes. She kept looking down, up. Nobody wants to cover it. I know all about notes. I mean, it's all right if people know that, but she wasn't supposed to have notes. So she's asked a question. She looks down. She keeps on. She had notes. That means she knew that she knew what was happening.
Did her campaign, when they said that they wanted to change the rules that they had agreed to, did they ask for notes? Did they ask for
They wanted notes.
They wanted to be seated, and they wanted your mic hot.
And they wanted a desk. They didn't want to do it. I said, you got to do a stand-up.
After they already agreed to the other.
Yeah, but they wanted a desk from the beginning. You know who else wanted a desk?
Who?
Sleepy Joe. He wanted a desk.
All right, we got to take a break. More with President Trump. We are in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
All right, so I obviously knew that was Sean Hannity. I don't know what the beef is between George and Sean Hannity. I think his justification for saying that, he said, I don't like giving anyone in the mainstream media free credit. Shout out to my guy, man, out here doing this thing. Donald Trump doesn't need a script. He don't need to be out there going, feed me the answers. He don't need nobody in his ear feeding him the response. I don't know if anybody watched cartoons. Take y'all back. It was a SpongeBob episode. If you know SpongeBob, he never passed the driving test with Miss Puff. Like, he just couldn't do it. So one day he decided to put a walkie-talkie in his sponge, let's just say for the sake of the example, in his ear, in his head or whatever. And he had his friend pretty much giving him all of the instructions from afar, like do this, do that, whoop, whoop. And he was, anyhow, I feel like this is what's going on with Kamala. Exactly what's going on with Kamala. You know what? Let's put a walkie-talkie in the ear, and we're gonna feed her the answers. But this case, bro, they took it all the way back to paperback. They had her read, not even off of her hand. Somebody said, I can't believe the words Salad Queen and Border Czar didn't bother to show up. She had the opportunity, but it appears no show trained her. No show Joe trained her well. I'm just saying. Let's read them a few more. I can't believe. Oh, no. He really is a funny guy. This was classic. You do realize that Kamala is ducking and dodging the press, right? Of course we know that. That's why even CNN knows this, because everybody knows that. And CNN just made, even more people aware of her using Trump's wall in her ads and, out here doing what she doing, to copy and paste everything this man does. Anyhow, enough of me.
Tonight, K-File investigates. In a new report, you'll see first out front. The K-File team scoured Kamala Harris's tweets and statements going all the way back to 2017. And what they found was more than 50 instances of Harris slamming Trump's border wall. But now, new Harris campaign ads actually showcase that very wall.
As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border.
And on top of critical tweets, Harris also wrote in her 2019 book, quote, there was a bigger reason to oppose the border wall. A useless wall on the southern border would be nothing more than a symbol, a monument standing in opposition to not just everything I value, but to the fundamental values upon which this country was built. How could I vote to build what would be little more than a monument designed to send the cold, hard message, keep out? Well, K-File's Andrew Kaczynski joins me now. So, Andrew, I mean, you all have gone through, scoured an incredible amount of material. Tell me more about what you found.
Yeah, that's right. We found more than 50 of those tweets criticizing the border wall before she used that in her ad. And I want people to take a look at just a few of what she said here. She called it wasteful, useless, a waste of taxpayer money, a vanity wall project, a wasteful border wall, a stupid wall, a medieval vanity project, and an unnecessary wall. And those are really just, I mean, there were more of this, just like 10 or like 50. But there was really a lot of this was the common refrain during the campaign. You read that quote where she said it was against everything that not only she stood for, everything America stood for, and she brought this up a lot. Take a listen to just one instance of that in 2019.
It's the president's vanity project.
His multi-billion-dollar vanity project called a wall is nothing more than a distraction from the fact that he actually hasn't focused on working people in America. He contrived a national crisis around his big distraction.
All right, so you go through all of that, you've got all the tweets, and yet all of a sudden in the ads, there's pictures of the wall, and then you went through to look at that wall. Yeah. Like, what is that specific wall that's in her campaign ads now? And you found something very interesting about this specific portion of the wall.
And I think what's also really remarkable about this is, like, I mean, you heard her talking about it there, Trump's wall in his campaign during his presidency. There was really no greater symbol of Trump's presidency than the wall, in the way that Democrats were attacking him over the wall and his restrictive immigration policies. So we looked in that ad, and if you look at it, that exact area of wall is in Sasabe, Arizona, and that is a portion of wall that was actually built by Donald Trump. It was built in an area where there was not previous wall. It was actually pretty controversial when they were building it at the time. So just to see that, and then there are other.
She's using his wall that he built to say, "Look at what I did."
Basically. And the other images of the wall, we weren't able to pinpoint, but there's telltale signs that was a Trump wall, because there's an anti-climbing plate on top that became popularized during the Trump years.
It's really incredible reporting and important. All right, Andrew Kaczynski and K-File, thank you very much.
Now, it's all right for people to evolve positions and stuff like that, but this right here is on the extreme list right here, you know. Somebody says this is a tactic to make it seem like they are being hard on her. CNN getting on Kamala Harris and pointing out the hypocrisies could be a tactic, but you know what? I'm glad you pointed that out. It could be a tactic. We're just not going to take that off the table. Somebody says, I'll never forgive the media for convincing liberals that the wall don't actually make it harder for illegal aliens to enter our country. This was definitely a rhetoric that I was under back in the day when I used to be the one, oh my gosh, you're trying to get rid of the wall, this, that, and the third. He's just such a horrible person. This, that, and it's not going to stop people from coming over here anyway. And it was like, yes, it is. I'm like, yeah. This is the one, huh? Yeah, I remember being one of them people that like, oh, the wall is so stupid. I had a socialist mindset. I was definitely that of a liberal. So proud of myself for graduating, right? Somebody says, why are they doing this? It's smelling like Biden up before he got replaced. She is a fraud, complete and total fraud. So proud of her. OMG, is this true? Somebody wrote, they're taking the blinders off. Imagine if we had a shred of unbiased and consistent objective coverage like this from the media. Good job, CNN, reporting fact, putting things into perspective. I mean, the American people deserve the truth. And I think that even CNN is in a place now where they realize that certain things you just can't utter and spew. It's not like, let's say even 15 years ago, you know, it's not, you know, like then where, not even then, I'll say 20 years ago where, you know, the internet wasn't, you can get away with a lot more. Internet was still a baby, this, that, and the third. Today, we can look up stuff in 4K, okay? Not literal, but we can look up, pop up old tweets. We can pop up old videos. Your past will come back to haunt you, you know, in this day and age. So you gotta be on your P's and Q's out here, man. Kamala Harris, though, nothing is original. Nothing is original. Thank God that we have at least Trump to be able to come out here and maneuver and be able to speak without any scripts, speak without anybody feeding information into his ear, nothing like that. Because Kamala Harris is obviously dodging the press. Yeah, he been doing it, you know, going to the press, and it's just been cool, man. My fault, y'all. This is my first video today. I literally just woke up, like, not even. I woke up 10 minutes before I started this video. Woke up, washed my face, brushed my teeth, came right down here. So still loaded. If I said something stupid, I'm sorry. I got to make up in the next video. Woo!